try and run, but the Steelers want to run, and they've done it so much better since they got this man, Ernest Jackson. Look what he has done to their rushing game. A perfect Steeler back for this trapping game.
And Joe Walton across the way, the New York Jets. He has taken a chance this week. It would have been very easy for him to stay with a pat hand. After all, he's 10-4, but he's made major changes that we've already documented for you. He's, in essence, put his neck on the line against Chuck Noll and the Steelers.
Noll has done a great job in the second half of the season. A horrible start, 1-6. The last 7 games, they're 4-3 and could have won all 7 of them. This is a dangerous opponent. They're playing their best football of the year. They have nothing to lose. I think they're going to be a tough opponent for the Jets today.
Pat Leahy kicks it off for the Jets. And the Steelers tease an emotional image for New York. They need that kind of boost. Jackson, no gain. And here is that Jets defense, and they'll be spurred on by this partisan crowd. Joe Klecko on the nose. Marty Lions back in the starting lineup with Barry Bennett. Of course, Gastineau won't be activated till the playoffs if Crable moves to the outside. Clifton and MacArthur. Watch MacArthur on the inside, and Gilbo. Holmes and Carter at the corner, and Lester Lyles, Harry Hamilton, 2 hard-hitting safeties. 2nd and 10 for Malone. Abercrombie has some room, and out of bounds with a first down at the 31-yard line. Kevin MacArthur chased him out of the field of play. 10 yards for Abercrombie.
Talking to Bad Rad Radakovich, who's now the offensive line coach of the Jets, he said this Steeler team reminds him so much of the Steelers of the early 70s. 2-back football. They're running basically just good old-fashioned running game, but the trapping game is their specialty, and they'll be doing that trapping all day long on the Jets.
There's Klecko, the old pro from Temple, on the nose with that side saddle slant, a la Joe Green, the former old pro of the Steelers. Lips to the right, Stallworth split left. Up the middle. Picking his way is Abercrombie, the all-time Baylor rusher when he left the school at Waco. Kyle Clifton made the tackle.
Dick, Joe Klecko on the nose, playing with a knee that was scoped just a few weeks ago. Really only got 1 play last week. Cannot be at full speed, and you see them not willing to put his weight on that leg, actually driven off the ball. Both he and Lyons are playing with only partial help. Got to be a big concern.
He's got his good leg back to push off on. The right leg is the good leg. Now he has to work off the bad leg, the left leg. 2nd down and 7. Ernest Jackson. Stop cold. Barry Bennett spearheaded the charge. Many people, as they just read superficially about this game, fans around the country say, boy, the Jets are getting Joe Klecko back and Marty Lyons back. That's got to be really good news. But you don't feel that change is necessarily always to the positive.
No, I don't. But you saw there one of the reasons they felt they had to make the change, and that is the yardage that they've been giving up on the running game, in particular to their left side defensively.
3rd down and 6. Yet, and here's his first attempt. Crosses the field, but that's actually for a loss. Calvin Sweeney coming back to help out the quarterback for a -2. Bobby Humphrey on the coverage, and the Jets fans will see New York get the ball.
A long time to stand back there. You see Klecko, who's absolutely furious, and I'm sure it's probably about being held on the line of scrimmage.
Well, be careful.
They've got to restrain him on that sideline. Here's the kick.
Newsom's kick into the wind, and you see how that wind knocked it down. Flags all over the stadium, and it rolls dead at the 35-yard line. Chuck Sanders downfield. As you look at Joe Klecko, furious at something. Maybe someone blocked on that bad knee. 22 yards on the punt.
Well, one thing you don't want to have happen, you don't want to scream at an official, get that 15-yard flag on your side.
Dick Antak, the referee. holding against the Jets. We'll see if it was before or after the punt.
Steelers defense is on the field, so I'm assuming it was after the kick.
Still some debate on the part of the officials. Klecko cooling off. It's a good day for that.
It's not hard to cool off.
Holding. New York, number 36. Foul was after the kick. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So that makes the punt 22 plus 10, 32 yards and a timeout with 11:15.
And stop it right there. Well, let it run just a little bit further, guys. You'll see it right here. Rich Ehrenberg, number 24, cut Klecko on that bad knee. And Klecko came up fighting mad.
That was a legal block, though. That's a big man like that. A little man blocking him, he's got to go low. Don't like it, but that's within the rules.
That's what Rich Ehrenberg said, too, Dick.
The Jets start with two tight ends. Walker not in. Cleaver and Schuler bookend the line, and McNeil straight ahead for short yardage. And Tony Page, 49, is starting at fullback and not the rookie new Faola. There is the offense. O'Brien, who is the hottest quarterback in the league through the first 10 and one of the coldest the last 3. Freeman, McNeil, and Tony Page. Toon with Cleaver and Schuler double tight end. A hint that of the strategy of Walton. Sweeney, King, Fields, Alexander, McElroy. They've got their best offensive line now in all their proper positions. Schuler in motion, 2nd and 9. McNeil. Covered by the Steeler defense, and this is Steeler defense, not the steel curtain, but boy, they can put the clamp on you, and they have excellent linebackers. Willis has 11 sacks to lead those front 3, and then the linebackers, they'll say we'll stack up with anyone. Merriweather, a Pro Bowler, Little, Cole, a veteran, Brian Hinkle, they feel he's had an all-pro year, a Jack Ham type year. Swain and Sanchez, the corners, that's the soft spot for the Steelers. Shell, the veteran, with 50 interceptions, and Eric Williams at safety. Walker in motion, 3rd down and 6. Complete. Toon, 1st down, 38. Well, O'Brien completes his first pass for 10 yards. Remember last week in San Francisco, he went 0 for 9. His first pass was to Toon and went right off his chest.
He went 0 for the first quarter last week, and so important to get off on the right foot. Toon was not about to drop this pass. And watch him as he comes down expecting to be hit. I think he expected a shoulder in the back right there. Did not get it, but the Jets do get a first down, and so far they got things rolling.
5 minutes played in a scoreless first period. O'Brien in traffic, dumps it off to Page. And Tony Page from Virginia Tech. Spike Page out to the 45, a gain of 7.
The Steelers are not afraid to stick their linebackers, in particular Hinkle, number 53, out on the speed man on the outside. Part of a pressure defense, he's supposed to get a bump out there on Toon, and you look at him, they've got him man on man, although I bet he's got help deep. But the Steelers will do some interesting things with their linebackers.
Hinkle, 53, a college quarterback when he enrolled as a freshman at the University of Oregon. McNeil, no gain as he slips trying to make a cut at the 46, and that'll bring up 3rd and 3. Anthony Hinton, a rookie from Troy State, number 96, in on the play.
Dick, you already sense a different approach to this game than the Jets had last week. They came out hurling the football last week, thinking they were going to take advantage of San Francisco with play-action passes, but they never really got a running game going. Hard to make people believe in a play-action pass if you don't run the football.
Jets have 3 tight ends, Schuler, Cleaver, and 81, Billy Griggs in the lineup. And give to Page, nothing there except Steelers. And it was Hinkle, 53, in on the early hit.
A surge from all the big men. You'd expect with 3 tight ends in there that you could get things moved off, but they're running to the side. You've got to come straight into that line so you can use your power. Good pursuit, good lateral movement by that black-shirted Steeler defense.
Rick Woods deep as Dave Jennings for wearing number 13, Don Maynard's number when he starred with the Jets back in the 60s. And Jennings has the advantage of the wind at his back and had to handle that bad snap. Woods lets it bounce, and that'll take a Jets roll out of bounds at the 11-yard line. Boy, you can see the wind just carry that right away from Woods. He said, I'm not going to even come close to this hot potato.
See the club, Rob?
Yeah.
Oh, what's the name of that club? There's no slowing down with the silver bullet tonight.
Dave Jennings, you talked about the tricky wind. Even from the snap of center, he had to be quick to move to his right. That snap offline, but gets it away.
And downfield, because of the unpredictability of that ball, watch number 42, Dave Edwards. That ball kicks and almost hits him. If it hits him, it's a live ball. And I believe the Jets, yes, they would have been there to pick it up. And that would have been a big turnover. Winds like this, the unpredictability you talked about at the very beginning of the show.
The Steelers, again, pinned deep in their own end. 7:57 remaining first quarter. No score. Jets picked up 1 first down. Malone was 1 for 1 passing on their possession. A -2 yards. Steeler first down came on the ground. This is Jackson hammered in that trap as Marty Lyons filled the hole, as did Kyle Clifton.
One of the things that the Jets have missed is the inspirational play on defense, the big play on defense. Lyons, who's playing injured, an injured shoulder, is being suckered to the outside, would have none of it. And that's his experience, as you saw him slide back to make that play to the inside.
Former NFL Man of the Year for his work with children stricken with leukemia, Marty Lyons. Incomplete, intended for Lewis Lips. Jerry Holmes on the coverage. You could hear that one slapped smartly off the hands of Lips. I guess that's better than off the lips of hands.
And Louis Lips playing with a bad hamstring today. He had his best game of the year last week. 8 big catches in that game, but they were not sure he was even going to be able to play today. Has not practiced all week. He's their deep threat. He's such a key to them. We'll keep an eye on him all day.
Unlike the Steelers of old, where Swan and Stallworth were always on opposite sides, Lips and Stallworth both to the right. Well, now Stallworth in motion. Big third down. Incomplete. Lips has it knocked away by Jerry Holmes. Good coverage by Holmes back to back.
That ball looked like it held up against that wind, and even on the short passes, it's having an impact. You see Holmes on the sideline explaining his story, but watch it as Lips has to wait for that football. Well, back to the live action.
Harry Newsome, look at that wind, kick right into that punt, and Sohn fair catches it at the Pittsburgh 46-yard line. So the Jets are in Pittsburgh territory with 7:06 getting there, and partially perhaps because of the wind, and quite a collision, almost an interception. And then with a short punt into the wind, the Jets taking advantage of kicking off to start the game to get wind direction, and there's the reflection of that move. They've started at their own 40 on the average. Steelers 2 possessions at their own 15. Just outside the 45-yard line. Not much there. Keith Willis, number 93 from Northeastern, one of the tacklers, along with Robin Cole. Joe Walton. I'm not a sit-still coach. Boy, he's proven that again. If it's not working, I'd better do something to fix it. That's his job. And it's a courageous and bold move by Walton. He's laid the books open. O'Brien, incomplete. It may have been deflected by Eric Williams. It appeared right on target to Wesley Walker. Williams got a fingernail on it.
Williams from that zone position came up and just barely knocked it away. Got enough on it to take it out of the hands of the intended receiver. Ball is well thrown and would have appeared to certainly have been caught. Watch number 21 step in, just get enough of it to take it out of the line of flight, and Walker unable to get his hands on it.
3rd and 8. Triple left formation.
O'Brien trying to gun the ball in there anyway, and that's the kind of thing that leads to interceptions.
Dave Jennings to punt for the third time. Rick Woods back at the 10. Check it the second time. Another bad snap. Woods fair catch at the 14-yard line. Wynn carrying that one a little farther than he had anticipated, and with it a timeout. 6 minutes and 21 seconds. Was 45 of Pittsburgh.
Just barely off the hands there, and at the other end, look at Rick Woods trying to guess where that ball is going to come down. Ooh, that's scary out there.
Trying to catch a knuckleball. Again, the Steelers starting at the 15, 3 possessions. They've averaged that start at the 15-yard line. They pick up 2 or 3 yards from Ernest Jackson. Barry Bennett with a tackle. Let's talk about Ernest Jackson a little more. He has a chance to accomplish something that, as far as we can figure out, no one has ever done. He could have 1,000 yards rushing 3 consecutive years with 3 different teams. San Diego 2 years ago, then he was traded to the Eagles, gained over 1,000 last year with Philadelphia, wasn't acquired by Pittsburgh till after 3 games, or he'd probably have 1,000 yards this year already. He has 754 coming in. What a boost he has given Pittsburgh's running game. He gets the call again. Good second effort. He was stopped at the 24 and charged out past the 28 before Klecko could secure him.
And talking to Dick Hoke yesterday, who coaches these running backs for the Steelers, he said Ernest Jackson is the perfect back for our trapping system. Very quick, very explosive into the hole, and then good leg power as he has that surge to carry him through the line. They got him for nothing, too, which has got to be amazing.
They got a problem here. They don't have enough men on the field, so Malone's going to have to call a timeout. There's a mix-up there. Too many men came out, and Ernest Jackson may have been one of them. Jackson out to the 24-yard line, so when we resume, it'll be Pittsburgh looking at 3rd and 1.
United Way salutes Pittsburgh and one of its leading citizens. For more than 50 years, Art Rooney has guided his beloved Pittsburgh Steelers. He helped build the foundations of professional football and set a standard of quality that has made the NFL unparalleled in professional sports. His calm, selfless counsel saw his team through the tough early years to the Steelers' first Super Bowl victory in 1975. The Steelers are the only NFL team to win 4 Super Bowl titles. Art Rooney and his family have been part of the vitality and tradition of the Pittsburgh community. His strong commitment to the United Way and the Catholic charities which they support has made him one of the most universally loved and respected citizens of Pittsburgh. And he's still helping others. Pittsburgh is said to be one big family. Art Rooney is the heart of that family. This message furnished by the National Football League.
A popular item on the Steelers side of the field in the shadows where it's obviously colder, and then on the other side in the sun, the Jets have the hot seat and, well, the hot foot, too. You just put your feet in there. It's all entire heated unit. But the sun probably is the greatest ally. Big play, 3rd and 1. 5 minutes remaining first quarter, no score. On the ground, Abercrombie out to the 25-yard line. It's going to be very close. The Jets indicating that they might have thought a fumble occurred. Lyles and Lyons on the stop. They didn't make it to the 25, so that won't be good enough for a first down.
You see Joe Klecko on the line of scrimmage, and he is utilizing what the Steelers, well, you see they're going to now check it out. Look at the angle on the center by Klecko. And, of course, that's a position that Mean Joe Green established. You see him right there throwing Mike Webster aside and getting good penetration. Klecko absolutely amazing in his ability to use upper body strength to blow through that line so quickly.
Well, they made it after all. So the marker across the way had the spot across the 25-yard line. They didn't make it to the 25, but the linesman across the way did not mark it properly, and the Steelers will get the first down.
Well, obviously giving the officials a little information maybe they didn't have before.
Say it's not the linesman himself, but the aide who accommodates the yard stick crew.
That's really for the fans, too.
Yeah,
they want them to be able to see approximately.
He was off by a yard.
Yeah.
So the Steelers with the first down, and here's Abercrombie. Walter Augustus Abercrombie, 210-pounder in his 5th year and really improving with each game. He's second to Jackson in rushing with 719 yards, and Abercrombie's 39 catches lead the Steelers.
The thing the Steelers have done during this season that has really helped Abercrombie and helped them is to use him on 3rd down situations. He's been very effective running the ball and catching the ball in those 3rd down situations.
Out to the 33, a couple of yards shy of a first down.
We talked earlier about the trapping game of the Steelers. Now watch Terry Long here driving inside on Klecko, and then he'll bounce off to try and pick out a linebacker as the Steelers will come back to Abercrombie, number 34, with the trap play. Right there, the trap by number 65, Penny, on the outside. The angle blocking. You'll see it on the inside. The Steelers love it.
Kevin MacArthur, 57, made the tackle. It's 3rd and 1 again. And Abercrombie diving for the first down out to the 37-yard line. So the Steelers, as promised, staying with what they do best, running the football.
Dick, the other thing they're doing is trying to eat that clock. They have the wind against them. If they can get through this quarter with a 0-0 football game and then get the wind, then they're going to feel that they have done what they had hoped to do. Hopefully they'll get a touchdown or some scores with the wind at their back.
Abercrombie has carried the ball the last 4 times. And they improved their field position to the 36. Lips, look at the wind blow that out of the field of play. Lips coasting with Jerry Holmes figuring, well, that ball will drop right in my lap, and all of a sudden he looked up and it was 15 feet over his head.
Absolutely blew that ball off the field of play. Kevin MacArthur, we mentioned earlier, this man had been cut 3 times by the Jets, signed 4 times. You see him coming in on the blitz, but he's picked up. And look at Lips trying to adjust to that football. That ball literally moved about 10 yards in the air, started out inside of Lips, and went right out of bounds.
Mark Malone is 1 for 4 for a -2 yards passing. 2nd and 10. Before the snap contact, Marty Lyons, Preston Gothard, number 86, the tight end, was in the area. As we pause briefly for station identification, this is the NBC Television Network. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen, Ahmad Rashad, and NFL 86 at Giant Stadium in the Meadowlands. We have 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the opening period. No score. They are discussing that last contact foul. It'll either be second and 10. It'll be 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 5. Motion.
Tunchilkin, I believe, number 62, the man that was up early.
Ball starts. Offense, number 88.
Nope.
Simulated a start. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Okay, we don't have an 88.
Lynn Swan. You know, that guy's been in trouble. He's always been in trouble, that Lynn Swan.
I believe 86, Preston Gothard, I believe, is the man. And Tunchilkin started to move, too, number 62, from his tackle position. So they're both of them on the right side moving.
2nd and 15. Malone looking deep. He's a good runner. 40. And ducks in at the 45. 2 yards shy of a first down. Malone, longest run from scrimmage for the Steelers all year, 45 yards. You could see there he has the grace and speed and strength of a good runner.
I'll tell you, he was even faster when he came up, had reconstructive surgery in 82. He stays back in as long as he can. No receivers. He just breaks it loose. There's good pursuit by the Jets to get over there. Kyle Clifton and Jerry Holmes. And number 93, Marty Lyons, all the way from his left end position.
That's the Steelers' longest play of the game, 13 yards. They've made a couple of 3rd downs on this drive. outside. They've got blockers. Abercrombie, 45 and out of bounds at the Jets' 40-yard line. Oh, did they catch the Jets in a bad defensive set? They had 3 blockers and only 1 or 2 white shirts on this side of the field.
The San Francisco 49ers absolutely ran roughshod over the right side of that defense. And here they come again. They've moved Crable out there. They've got Lyons back in the lineup. But here they are again with no one outside. Holmes is not the most aggressive forcing back. They'd like to get him isolated out there and make him come up to tackle. He's late getting up there on that play. You see Bud Carson, he's got to be concerned about that play.
Well, the Steelers now with only 1 minute 47 seconds left in the quarter have moved into Jets territory for the first time, going against the wind. And Ernest Jackson driving for 5 more before Bennett, number 78, can stop him. What you predicted, Merlin Olsen, that the Steelers, not only because they like to run, but because of the conditions, would run the football. They're minus 2 yards passing. All the yardage has been on the ground.
It all has been on the ground. But again, we remind you that the yardage is going to change according to where you're going. If you're into the wind, you're going to try and run the football, and you're not going to be able to pass anything very long effectively. You saw what happened to the pass to Lips earlier.
Protection. Open is Stallworth. Can't hang on. Incomplete. Russell Carter able to come up and smack him.
The mechanics are just not right. That ball is hanging in the wind. Now watch the play. The timing looks to be good. There's the cut. Stallworth has his man pushed off. That's Russell Carter, 27. But look how he has to wait for that football. And Carter can close the cushion and be there in time to knock the football away.
The wind blowing the ball. The official, the umpire, has to actually put his hand or foot on it until the teams break huddle. 12th play of this drive. 12th. Over the middle, incomplete to Lips. He drew a crowd. Holmes and Crable were there. And with 52 seconds left in the quarter, the Steelers will have to give up the ball, and against the wind, they'll not try a field goal. Now the passing game into the wind, unsuccessful. Kurt Stone back at the 10-yard line, and a flag goes down.
The Jets saying that the Steelers were moving on that play, although you ordinarily wouldn't mind giving up 5 yards here, but on a day like today, you don't want to give up anything.
Start offense, number 51, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
On the center. Now that's remarkable. You very rarely see that.
Dan Turk, a former Wisconsin Badger, backing up Mike Webster. Of course, he's also
there. It is.
And
yeah.
You can't pick it up and roll around with it before you snap it. Newsom can let it all fly, hit it as hard as you want. That's all the farther it goes. To the 19-yard line. Flag is down.
Boy, if that won't tell you a story about what the wind does to a kicker. Absolutely tried to line drive that football and couldn't even get it to line drive for him.
Yeah, usually you kick it low and end over end, you'll get a good roll. Didn't even get that.
Now Newsom has been changed. As you see the offside, Newsom has gone from a 3-step kicker to a 2-step kicker. He's been working on that for 4 games. Had a lot of kicks blocked early in the year, or at least deflected, and they've worked with him to get the ball out of there quicker. And of course, making that kind of change throws your stride off a little bit. His timing has got to be poor anyway.
Well, the Jets figure
illegal formation. Offense, number 42 stepped off the line, did not come back forward. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Dave Edwards, defensive back. Well, Newsom can only hope that somehow magically the winds will die a bit, because he can hammer it as hard as he wants. He's not trying to just loft one down, folks. Even though the line of scrimmage is the 45 of the Jets, this man's going to kick it as far as he can.
The Jets blocked a punt last week against San Francisco. I think they're coming here.
They are, and he just did get it away. No flag, and the Jets do gain about 8 yards Jets' 27-yard line.
Let's go look at that two-step kicking by Newsome and the pressure coming from the Jets. A little rocker step. Watch him as he kind of settles back on that foot. And then 1, 2, and oh, is he lucky. Boy, I'll tell you, it looked like Harry Hamilton, number 39, and I don't know how he missed that football.
Matt Munger was coming in from the left side, but he had to run by the kicker. Hamilton was the man with a chance at the block. O'Brien with time running out in the opening quarter. Going long for Walker. Intercepted. Rick Woods. It was not whistled dead. It's a live play. 40. Woods, 45, 48-yard line. The official says there was not contact with Walker, and so Woods, with his third interception of the year, gives the Steelers the ball near midfield.
Couple of quick looks at that play, and although it's difficult to throw the ball into the wind, it's also difficult to judge what the ball will do when you throw it downwind. And I think right there, O'Brien took a little bit off of it, thinking it would sail, and it didn't sail far enough. Woods judged it perfectly, comes down with the football.
There were two men between Walker and the ball, and actually Shell falling into Walker denied him a chance to make contact. So it's a 24-yard return, and O'Brien's troubles continue. He has only 1 touchdown and 7 interceptions in the last 3 games plus this one. Could be the last play of the opening quarter, and with it, Ernest Jackson goes into Jets territory at the 48-yard line.
At the end of that interception, you notice that the Jets players kind of stopped. And you watch it right here. You'll see the end of the play. The Jets players stop. They think that Woods is down, but he's not touched by anyone. He goes down of his own accord. He gets back up, which is very legal, and the Jets are kind of looking around. Well, he doesn't know either. He heads upfield, picked up 20 big yards on that play.
And that is the end of the first quarter, so Pittsburgh will have the win coming up. Look, what a game in the Central Division tomorrow.
Interesting to notice how many teams playing great football early in the year kind of dropping out of sight, and that Central Division, kind of laughed at early in the year, has produced 2 very fine teams late in the season.
And I know you're a big, tough man in the post when you played basketball. Stay tuned. We've got our first game of the year as Al McGuire, my buddy, will be along with Marv Albert as DePaul goes to the NCAA champion Louisville Cardinals. That'll follow our telecast this afternoon. Yes, sir. There's the watering hole, the heating spot for the Steelers. Fans well bundled. We're ready to go in the second quarter. First quarter statistics, and the Steelers have to be pleased with the way they move the football into the wind.
They were able to eat up the clock, and the Jets, with their advantage, their first advantage at using that wind, have really done nothing. They have no yardage to speak of and no points on the board.
So the offense of the Jets still in hibernation, and now Pittsburgh with the wind. Second down at the Jets 48, first play, second quarter. And Ernest Jackson slamming through to the 42-yard line. That'll be a first down. Jackson, a former Aggie, Texas A&M, now in his 4th year. Well, that is quite a remarkable story. Last year at this time we had a Pittsburgh game, and their 3 fullbacks were Frank Pollard, Steve Morse, and Todd Spencer. None of those 3 is here today. Jackson, Reeder, and Sanders are at that spot for Pittsburgh. It appeared to be against the Jets. Abercrombie out of bounds at the 44-yard line. Tom Baldwin, number 95, may have jumped too soon. It is 5 against the Jets. 1st and 5, then Pittsburgh.
Dick, if we can wind that back, let's start by turning this loose and watch the jumping going on by Klecko. Started on one side, jumped across, and then you get Tom Baldwin driving to the inside. The Jets trying to be a little tricky with 4 men in there, trying to jump positions to upset the Steelers, actually end up bothering their own timing and going off sides.
It was interesting. On a first down play, they used 2, in essence, nose tackles, Baldwin and Klecko. So they really are looking to run, aren't they?
They know that the Steelers want to run the football, and now that the Steelers have been effective in establishing it, they're going to stay with it.
And now the luxury of 1st and 5. And with a win, Malone going for Lips and a 1st down at the 16-yard line. First positive gain through the air for the Steelers.
We talked about the great game he had last week and the fact that he is playing with a bad hamstring today. Got to believe that what makes this play work is the fact that they have established already the running game. That gives their quarterback a little bit more time to work, gives Lips a little bit of an edge downfield. He has enough speed to scare Holmes off and break it to the outside.
Best penetration by either team, and it's Jackson on a quick hitter up the middle, and we have a flag, and when thrown by the umpire, that almost invariably is holding offense. It is. Chuck Noll. A win today for Noll will tie him all-time with the master himself, Paul Brown, the man who coached Noll for the Cleveland Browns in his playing days.
Watch this, and again, it's the trap play. Watch these two men blocking back. Trappers coming from the opposite side, going to bring it right up through here as you chance to watch typical Steeler football. The trapping game in action.
But the penalty makes it 1st down and 20 at the 26. Drilled. What a catch by Abercrombie. Oh, when you consider the hard rock he's trying to latch onto and the way Malone zipped that one, and with the differentials involved with a win, Abercrombie, a rather remarkable play.
He's had a tough time adjusting to the fact that he was drafted right after a Marcus Allen. Everyone expected him to come in and be that kind of impact player. He had a good year last year, but this has probably been his most consistent year of performance in a down year for the Steelers. And I mentioned the long yardage work he's done in the backfield. That's a great example of it there.
17 yards on the play, so it's 2nd and 3. In the end zone and broken up by Russell Carter. Intended for Stallworth. John Stallworth, the great star for the Steelers, one of the game's outstanding stars, does not have a touchdown catch this year. Joe Klecko.
One thing Joe Walton said to me yesterday, and we're seeing it right now, he said, I've got to put Klecko and Lyons back in there. I hope they can last. It would appear that that is indeed Klecko's bad knee, and you see the feeling on the sideline there. This is not a man that you can afford to lose in your defense. He's the emotional heart of that defense. They've already lost Mel, who's their leader on the field and the man that calls the defenses, and now Klecko is down.
Joe Walton, as he stares out at Klecko, is not only thinking about Klecko at this moment, but what this injury might mean impacting the playoffs, that Klecko, well, you know, they got to speculate, may not be available. Well, they checked. Let's call timeout for 9. The wind blew it to the 10, and no one noticed, so a yard lost between plays. So it's now 3rd and 4 instead of 3rd and 3. Underneath to Lips, and a 1st down inside the 2. Lewis Lips, who is injured as well as Stallworth in the early part of this year and has returned 2 touchdowns last week. He had only 1 all year, and you see Klecko being attended.
Let's go back and see if we can possibly see what happened to Klecko. Klecko's right here. He's going to drive inside, and you'll see Terry Long go onto the back of his legs there. Really didn't catch much of his knee, but when you've got a bad knee and you're already having troubles with a leg, it doesn't take much to bother a knee like that. And Klecko, of course, went immediately to the sideline at that point.
Abercrombie gives the Steelers the first score of the game. So following Rick Wood's interception, and with the wind, the passing game improving for Chuck Noll's Steelers. Lips a couple of key catches, and a remarkable grab by the man who scores the touchdown, Walter Abercrombie.
Just driving up to the inside again with good trap blocking. Webster in there, Long in there, Wolfley in there on the inside.
Gary Anderson adds the extra point. The Steelers go 52 yards in 7 plays.
Creator of the incredible Maxim autofocus SLR system, only from the mind of Minolta. And by the Kellogg Company, maker of Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, Tony's Flakes of Corn with a sweet frosting.
Well, the days down to a precious few before the holidays, and for the Jets, the weeks are down to a precious few, and losing 3 in a row and falling behind again 7-0 to the Steelers. The Jets' woes continue, and they have not been able to move the ball offensively. You see the choreography of the Steeler drive, 52 yards after Woods' interception. Abercrombie with the score, his 6th touchdown of the year. Anderson kicks it off with the wind. JoJo Townsell at the 7. 30, one man to beat Anderson. 40, 30, JoJo Townsell. That the Jets need to cure the problem. The longest return all year for the Jets on a kickoff was 45 yards by Bobby Humphrey, and Townsell has more than doubled it. 93 yards equals 6, and now Pat Leahy to tie it up. See, even with that extra point, how the wind affected it. So every kick, even extra points. It's the Steelers 2 years ago. Bobby Humphrey did it. Into the wind. Coming up to get it is Lupe Sanchez. Down hard, Matt Munger, a star on that special teams. He leads them in tackles. Makes the hit outside the 25-yard line. The report on Klecko, he twisted that injured knee. Won't play the rest of this half. Might play the second half. Don't bet against it.
I'd say that's good news. And one thing you have to know, when you've had a knee problem and you take a shot on it, there's that instant surge of pain. And what comes back to you mentally is the pain you had when the knee was hurt the first time. So a lot of times it's fear that keeps you on the ground. You're afraid you've torn it up again.
Steelers, of course, still with the advantage of the wind. Abercrombie out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Very close to drawing a penalty of the Jets. Rusty Gilbo made the tackle. Abercrombie having trouble handling the toss back from the quarterback. The other time the Steelers have been burned by the kickoff return for a touchdown was by an ice cube. Gerald McNeil of the Browns. He went 100. 2nd and 7. Calvin Sweeney can't hang on. Flag. Russell Carter was there too soon. We were wondering about that as we watched the replays of the shots with this wind. I think it's thrown the timing off on everyone, not just quarterback and receiver, but the defensive backs have been almost a little too soon. Here's a case where Carter made contact before the ball arrived.
You have to sense that those defensive backs are used to feeling the timing.
Number 27, first down.
Have to go with their gut instincts, and right there he'd seen the ball released. Figured that ball was going to get there. No way.
14 yards on the penalty. No doubt about it. Ball at the 44. Think anyone's watching up in New England? Do they care about this game?
All the sets up there turned on.
Abercrombie out to the 49-yard line. The one thing that seemed quite apparent from the start of this weekend was that the Pittsburgh Steelers came in here, a team that you would think was playing for a playoff spot, and that's to the credit of Chuck Noll, the 54-year-old head man of the Steelers. We said earlier, Noll, if he wins today, will have 170 career wins. That would tie him with his coach, Paul Brown, for the number 5 spot all time. He passed Bud Grant with a win last week. Ernest Jackson. Only 5'9", but carrying 202 pounds. Jackson into Jets territory to the 41.
Good, smart, tough running by Jackson, and you look at the rushing edge for these Steelers. They're 100 yards already against a Jets team that really had played well against the run all year until the last 3 ball games. Jackson, seeing no room inside, breaks outside. They wanted to get some shots on Rusty Gilboa. They don't think he's very good at handling the outside plays on the left side of their offensive line. They've done it out there a couple of times and made good yardage.
Rich Ehrenberg, 24 in the game. They like to go to him. He's a good pass receiver. And he's open deep, but they go the other way. Incomplete to Calvin Sweeney.
A lot of pushing going on by Russell Carter and Calvin Sweeney. One of them is going to be charged for the foul.
I believe before the throw. Interesting pattern. They send Ehrenberg on a deep motion.
Interference. Defense. Number 27. First down.
Did you see how much time Mark Malone had? Again, the function of the running game and a lack of pressure from the Jets defense on the quarterback. Only 25 sacks on the year. And if you follow these Jets, you know that they're capable of great pressure on the quarterback. Not so in '86. Mark Malone has time to eat his lunch back there. Waits and waits, finally unloads that football, and of course defensive backs get desperate when they know that the ball can be thrown at any time.
9 yards on the penalty. That's 2 pass interference penalties on this drive. Flags. Whistle at dead before the snap.
Dick, you talked about Paul Brown and Chuck Noll. One of the interesting parts of their relationship is that Noll was a messenger guard in Paul Brown's system, carrying the plays onto the field, and yet Noll today, the only NFL coach who allows his quarterback to call the plays.
Ball starts. Offense, number 86, simulating a snap, 5-yard penalty, repeat the down, first down.
Mike Webster, Preston Gothard involved in a little extra movement there, simulating the snap. Gothard has been called twice now for that. First and 15. And 41 seconds left in the second quarter. 7-7 tie. Abercrombie, short yardage. He was out there as a flanker down at the 23-yard line. Not much on that play.
We mentioned the kind of problems that O'Brien was having lately. Malone's season exactly the opposite. The first 4 games of the year, look at that completion percentage and the interceptions. Now look what Malone has been able to do during the last 8 games. He missed 2 games in there with a thumb injury. His percentages are up as well as his TDs.
It's interesting, in those last 8 games he had Ernest Jackson.
It sure does help.
Second and 11. Draw. Ernest Jackson. Hit from behind by Kevin MacArthur. 5 yards on the play, bringing up 3rd and long.
I talked to Malone, and I asked him directly about that today. I said, what was happening early in the year? He said something that O'Brien has said in the last few games. He said, I was trying to do too much. And he said, when I finally had a chance to sit down for a couple of games and think about it, when I came back in, and of course by that time Jackson was helping the offense to move the ball, he said, I've played more within myself. I haven't tried to make the big play by myself.
Looking for Stallworth, instead goes to Weegee Thompson, incomplete. And now part of the adventure of the game, a field goal try, trying to figure Gary Anderson trying to read the treacherous winds here at the Meadowlands.
Looking from the end zone, and we're just going to give you an example of the kind of protection that Malone, let's just turn it loose and watch the kind of protection that Malone gets from Webster, number 52, from Terry Long, from Tunchilkin. Look at that. Standing back there, even though the pass is incomplete, you can't give a quarterback that kind of time.
Now the try for the field goal, and it's good. Gary Anderson from 36 yards, one of the most accurate in NFL history, and Steelers lead. JoJo Townsell's perspective as Gary Anderson tees it up. Townsell, who took the last one back 93 yards for the Jets score, he switched sides. He was over on the far side when he returned it, and now he's moved to this side with Bobby Humphrey moving over into the sunny patch of the field, and Anderson having trouble keeping the ball on the tee.
He'll have someone come in and hold it now. The ball is blown off so many times that they'll have Lupe Sanchez come in and hold it. You want to look at the drama there. Jets ineffective offensively.
They kick toward Townsell at the 2. And he ran into Mike Merriweather, and a flag goes down at the 21. Merriweather, despite the fact a Pro Bowler the last 2 years on those special teams today against the Jets. And it's against New York, as you saw.
Illegal block in the back on return. Number 89 declined. Illegal block in the back. Number 39 on the return. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Gary Anderson has not had a great year, but of course, as Joe Gordon was telling us, he hasn't had that many chances. With the offense so ineffective early in the year, did not get many chances to kick. But here in a very low-scoring game, you see him like clockwork putting that ball through the uprights.
That was the 36-yard field goal. It makes it 10-7 Pittsburgh. Jets from deep in their own end. Freeman McNeil weaving his way to the 22. About 10 yards, maybe 11.
Dick, the Steelers really got their game going by a long drive, controlling the football into the wind. And even though they didn't get a score out of it, they were able to eat up a lot of the clock and get themselves moving. The Jets have to get this offense pumping. And maybe the best way to do it is to start giving that ball to McNeil and start working the running game.
10 yards and a first down, and McNeil gets the call again and has 10 more. David Little finally gets him out of bounds.
McNeil right, coming back to McNeil left. Gordon King pulling out, as you see Sweeney, number 53, getting a good block on the outside. David Little, Larry Little's younger brother, getting the tackle.
Yeah, Larry, head coach now at Bethune-Cookman, proud of his kid brother. 11 yards on the play, another first down for McNeil. Give it to Freeman again. And he's out to the 37, maybe the 38. Donnie Shell, the 5-time All-Pro veteran at safety, comes up to bang him down. Torpedo Shell was his nickname when he joined the Steelers out of South Carolina State. He now has 50 interceptions, the first strong safety in the history of the game to collect a half 100. And what a great guy.
He really is. Tremendous leadership for this team, too.
McNeil across the 40. He'll be a couple of yards shy of the first down. trouble getting out of the way of his own blocker, Jim Sweeney. Brian Hinkle, 53, in on the tackle.
The two changes in that offensive line that we mentioned earlier. 68, Reggie McElroy back at his right tackle position, and Gordon King, 72, moving from that right tackle to left guard, where Ted Banker has had injury problems all year long. Gordon King is not a guard, but he is healthy.
3rd and 2. O'Brien, that's a free ball, and covered by Reggie McElroy, who in turn is tackled back at the 22-yard line. Looked as if somebody, Edmund Nelson, made the defensive play 64. It looked as if somebody knocked the ball right out of O'Brien's hand as he had cocked it ready to throw.
Either that or the ball slipped out. Let's see. It's cold down there, remember. From the backside, I think it just slipped out of his hand. He started up, and again, on a
hand hit it. You can see
92 is Keith Gary, isn't it? I believe so, on the inside. Keith Gary.
Or Gerald Williams, 98. Someone reached right through the mass and made the play for the Steelers.
Well, now it's Jennings' turn to kick into that win.
His first time. Woods waits at the 46 of Pittsburgh.
Pretty good.
For a while. And he gets a good roll. Hey, Jennings, who learned to kick here with the Giants, had to kick some time at Shea Stadium. And he gets the best punt of the day into the wind all the way to the Pittsburgh 35 and just became all alone. In the history of all the kickers who have played in the National Football League, no one has punted more times than David Jennings out of St. Lawrence University, a free agent back in '74 of the Giants. Really was a basketball player in college, still a big Celtics fan.
You see the ball in his hand. I'm sure that one goes in the trophy case.
43 yards. He can talk about that one.
You better believe it.
And as it goes, it'll be a -50 when he tells his grandchildren about that kick. Malone, play action. Abercrombie out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Walter Abercrombie was around as a rookie when a fellow named Franco Harris was in the backfield of the Steelers. That play reminded me of Franco. Don't try to bust someone up and get another yard and fumble the ball. There's that nice little stripe on the sidelines. Just go out over there and save yourself for the next play. Gain of 7.
Well, the success that this Steeler team is having today on the ground also reminiscent of Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier and the Steeler offense of the early 70s.
2nd and 3 at the 42. That's Lips in motion. Play action again. Screen. Wide open to Jackson with blockers. 50. 46 of the Jets before Hamilton can get him out of bounds. I'll mark it at the 45. Boy, that one looked as if it might go even farther. Jackson had a couple black shirts in front of him.
When you can pick up good yardage on first down, you've got all kinds of options on second down. You force the Jets to respect the pass. You get them deep, and you drop it off to a good running back and a little screen. Get some good blocking out in front on Gilboa by Penny, number 65, and Jackson picks up the first down. I tell you, the Steelers aren't doing many things wrong on offense today.
Hard to believe this is a 5-9 team. And actually, in the last 7, they've won 4. The 3 losses, 2 were in overtime at Chicago, at Cleveland, and they lost by 4 at Buffalo. Jackson, a quick pop, but nothing much there. Gives us a chance to remind you this telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. Just in case he should forget, Jennings is writing down the facts himself on that treasured football that marks him the busiest kicker in NFL punting history. Stallworth, first down, fumble. The ball was dead. The play had been whistled dead. 12 yards for Stallworth and a near miss for the Jets.
Some good hitting going on in the secondary. sandwich Stallworth. Stallworth has been troubled by injuries all year long, mainly knee injuries for him. There's the knee on the ground. Ooh, and just barely that ball kicking loose.
The instant replay official may be looking at it. It was a matter of the knee being down or not before the ball popped free. Not often we look at where the ball is when he goes down. He doesn't have to.
After further review by the instant replay, play stands, first down.
Hey, they're generating a little more decision making in a hurry than they did before in that instant replay, and I think we all applaud that.
We certainly do. Keep the flow of the game going. On a day like today, you can freeze to death.
Resetting the clock, another 4 seconds onto the clock will make it 4:35. It's 10-7. The Steelers leading the Jets. The Jets can lose and still make the playoffs. This isn't a do-or-die game for them, but there are a lot of other factors going on as you look ahead. Home field in the playoffs, as well as having to play as a wild card the extra game, and on and on. Abercrombie cut off by Bob Crable. Well played by the former Notre Dame star, number 50 Crable.
We'd mentioned earlier that Lips and Stallworth have both been injured this season. Both are being productive here today, and you want to have your deep people healthy. Last year, of course, they were really banging them up. 134 receptions and 17 TDs. Look at the difference in this season. Oh, just to stay healthy.
All 3 touchdowns by Lips. 2nd and 9. Big John to the 25 and a flag down, and I believe they got his face mask.
Flying at that football, I think. Yeah, and you see Malone saying they grabbed the mask. That's a good idea, Mark. Help those officials.
He'd be great in charades. Gonna pick him on my team.
We get a close look at him. He's a great Tom Selleck lookalike. In fact, he could be a double, an action double.
You told me I was a great Tom Selleck.
Well,
right. You say that about everybody.
5 yards. Will be a first down.
He does. I wish.
Let's see if we can see who reached in and took a hold of the mask there. There it is. That's 27, Russell Carter, just reaching in and leaving the hand out of there as quickly as possible. But the official had spotted it quickly and threw the flag.
First down at the 20 for the Steelers. What a hole! Ernest Jackson to the 8-yard line. First and goal, Pittsburgh. Harry Hamilton saved a touchdown.
This is an area that Joe Klecko, of course, was in earlier. Now Tom Baldwin is back in there. And again, it's the trapping play. As you see Terry Long coming from the backside. That's Tunchilkin, 62, actually coming from the backside. The Steelers have made that trapping offense work today against the Jets.
That gives Jackson 57 yards in this first half. 811 for the year. First and goal. Abercrombie, nothing there. Tom Baldwin, who has replaced Joe Klecko on the nose, makes the tackle. Tom played at Tulsa. Worked as a bouncer in the off year up in his hometown of Chicago. Joe Klecko watching from back in the tunnel that leads to the locker room just to get out of that wind.
And an indication, I think, that we may not see any more of Klecko today.
Klecko did start, in case you're joining us, re-injured his knee in this first half. Down to the 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes left in the first half. The Pittsburgh Steelers, nasty underdogs, lead the Jets. Some of the Jets are playing hurt. You had to play injured, and it does have its impact in a lot of ways.
I was watching Marty Lyons, who's playing with a shoulder harness, and somebody asked me, how can you play with a torn-up shoulder? And I said, well, it's only pain.
And that's not funny.
No, it's true. It's true.
Second and goal. Steelers trying to add to their 10-7 lead. Look at the time. Touchdown, Abercrombie. his second of the game. Malone had half an hour to find him.
One of the reasons that Malone had so much time was because of the great blocking on Lions by Tunch Ilkins, who's been playing very, very well for the Steelers in there today, even though he's working on a bad hamstring.
All right, the point after by Anderson coming up. Wind at his back, and the Steelers have scored 17. If this is good, and they do have 17 going right to left, and in the second half, that will be one of the things that both coaches will consider. The Jets have a minute 54 to try to get some of that back. This is the capper of a 65-yard drive in 9 plays.
Tremendous job inside. Look at the catcher actually leaping into the air. Abercrombie was in the middle of 5 white-shirted Jets. Malone able to get the ball in there, and Abercrombie did the rest.
Well, he's the leading receiver for the Steelers, and he's showing you why. Even in the cold conditions, 3-degree chill factor, Abercrombie securing a 6, and that was not an easy catch.
One-hand grab and a glove on that hand to boot.
Mark Malone will say just the soft touch. Malone was 5 for 5 on that drive after a slow start. He's heated up as well.
We knew, Dick, that the Jets, when they couldn't take advantage of having that wind early, were going to have problems in this second quarter. The Steelers have mounted a very quick offense here to get themselves 17 points. The Jets getting 7, but on the kickoff return, now hope they can do something offensively.
This one is to Bobby Humphrey's side at the 8. Oh, into the 17, and that is all he gets. Rick Woods, number 22, was there. Only 9 yards on the return. Townsell got 93, and Bud Carson talking to his defense. But it's the offense, even with all the injuries to the defense, and the offense that really has been in the slump in this losing streak for the Jets. And there is evidence that it's continuing.
33 yards total offense on the half. Boy, earlier in the year, the Jets got that on 1 play.
O'Brien underneath to Schuler. The tight end struggles to the 23, and for Ken O'Brien, that is only his 6th throw. He's 3 for 6, 22 yards, and as we said at the very start of the telecast today, it's in his hands. He has to unlock the problem. Freeman McNeil, first down at the 34. Clock running, 1:21, 1:20. To the side, was that a dangerous pass? Schuler out of bounds at the 43, and that one was very nearly intercepted by Rick Woods for 6 the other way.
Not too many weeks ago, the Cleveland Browns got 414 yards against this Steeler defense. They chewed a great deal on the Steelers cornerbacks. Lupe Sanchez in there at cornerback, and again with that wind holding the ball, almost makes the good play. Pretty good spiral. That's a tight spiral by O'Brien.
2nd and 1 underneath to Schuler. First down at the 49 with exactly a minute left, and the Jets will call time. Mickey Schuler back-to-back catches, setting a Jets record for consecutive games with a reception. But the Jets right now need come up with some points with a minute left, and he has to throw that one away. Freeman McNeil had Brian Hinkle all over him. 53 Hinkle. Stay tuned at halftime for NFL 86. So much involved in this weekend, the playoff picture. Ahmad will give you his impressions of the first half directly here from Giant Stadium. And Paul McGuire, I don't know, he's going to have to hire a platoon to protect him the way this Jet season is falling apart. They're going to blame him. Boy, he's been right on, though. He did predict it. O'Brien almost intercepted. It was intended for Schuler. Lupe Sanchez was the closest man to the ball. Let's pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network. Dick Enberg with Merlin Olsen. Pittsburgh trying to dampen the Jets' hopes for the playoffs. 17-7. 48 seconds left in the half. This is a 3rd and 10 play. Open is Walker, and a first down at the 36. And timeout call. That's the second used by the Jets with 40 seconds remaining.
Steelers in a prevent defense, and O'Brien did a great job of gunning that football.
Walker's first catch, by the way, Merlin.
I talked to Pat Ryan about O'Brien, and I said, how does he do against the wind? He said he can gun that ball, has plenty of arm, and throws a tight spiral, and you can see how well that ball is spiraling. Very important against the wind. He does get in trouble when he tries to throw the ball deep because he throws a high arc on the ball, and of course the wind like this will just kill a high ball like that.
See the veteran from California maneuvering for that catch, and with a respect deep given by Woods, he was wide open underneath. 13 yards on the play. Al Toon has only 1 catch for 9. Wesley Walker only 1 catch for 13. Schuler with 3, the tight end. Toon and Walker form one of the top 3 catching tandems in the entire NFL, but very quiet in this first half.
Well, not much at all for the Jets to cheer about offensively or defensively.
This is their best penetration offensively. The only score, of course, coming on the kickoff return.
And it would be very positive for them to get at least something on the board here, although I don't know if I'd want to try and kick a field goal in that direction.
O'Brien, a wobbler, Walker out of bounds. His foot was out of bounds. And a flag is down. John Swain on the coverage for the Steelers, number 26.
Quite possibly against the Steelers, but even if it is, there are only 34 seconds left on the clock.
That does give Joe Walton and the Jets time to think through the next play. Illegal use of the hands against the Steelers, and apparently against Swain.
This would be the kind of a situation where you'd expect Walton
illegal
ordinarily.
contact. Defense, number 26. First down, 5-yard penalty.
You would ordinarily expect Walton and his offensive coordinator Rich Kotite to be going for the end zone. But I tell you, on a day like today, you just can't do it. You've got to play an entirely different game.
Hercules couldn't throw it in there that far. McNeil, who almost kicked free, and a good tackle by Greg Carr by the ankles at the 24. Clock running, and the Jets want to save at least a timeout to get the field goal unit on if. Going for 6, open zone.
Saying, who cares about the win? Smart play as they came right back on a quick count. Didn't allow the Steelers to get in the defensive huddle and put it in the end zone.
Pat Leahy try for point. And suddenly it's 17-14. What a difference. And how about Kurt Sohn, the free agent, 1980 out of Fordham? He just continues to make big plays for you year after year.
We see Sohn going into the end zone for that one, but what about O'Brien? Let's look at the zip on that pass. But look at what Sohn has to do to get those feet down. Boy, I'll tell you that he put that second toe right inside the line.
And the way he adjusted, he was going more to his left, then he saw the ball being carried by the wind back behind him. Here you can appreciate.
Tight spiral.
That wind was blowing so hard it blew the camera offline.
Well, I'll tell you, a sigh of great relief on the Jets sideline as they're finally able to get an offense cranking for a touchdown. And O'Brien breaking a touchdown this early may turn him loose a little bit. Confidence is a problem.
Excuse me, Merlin. 83 yards in a minute and 34 seconds. The first Jets touchdown on offense in the first half in 4 games. 14 seconds left. This one is academic, but the Steelers better cover it. And at the 25, and with some trouble, Calvin Sweeney.
Dick, when I was talking to Joe Walton about his problems, in particular on offense, he said something I thought appropriate. He said, so many of our big play people are very young, O'Brien and Toon in particular, and their confidence has really been shaken by this period of time when we've not been able to break it out. He said, I think as much as anything, we just need to get something going, need to get back to where we feel like, yeah, we can do it. Let's just get it up there and go with it.
Probably the last play, and it appears the Steelers from that formation are just going to sit on it. Malone does. And the final end or the ball here. Actually, it appears that they took the ball. And, of course, then the Jets would take the win, which means the Steelers with the lead figure, well, we'd like to finish with the wind at our back. We'll wait for a confirmation of that. Leahy's kick is short to the 12. Fumbled and covered by Lupe Sanchez at the 16-yard line.
Well, there have been plenty of opportunities for the turnovers that we anticipated might take place in the kicking game. The ball has been loose several times, but so far we haven't seen them, although we have had plenty of excitement in the kicking game.
Still waiting to see whether the Steelers elected to take the ball or obviously they didn't elect to take not the win, so they took the ball.
Yep.
And also will get the win in the fourth quarter. And they still have Ernest Jackson, and Jackson shooting for another 100-yard game up the middle. Sizable yardage, almost 7 on first down. Joe Klecko will not play the rest of the day, but no new damage to the knee is the good news. It just buckled on him, so as far as you look down the line, the Jets get in the playoffs. Joe could be back to help out, but Tom Baldwin is playing on the nose. Jackson again. Slips and falls, trying to make the cut at the 21-yard line.
Kevin MacArthur, number 57, there for the defense. You watch MacArthur, number 57, being chased by Wolfley. Wolfley actually grabbing and putting a hammerlock on him, but Ernest Jackson slipping as he tried to cut that corner.
Receivers are to the right with Stallworth now in motion. Fumble.
I believe the Jets have the football.
No official signal yet. No, Pittsburgh recovered.
The ball was loose as Humphrey blitzed from the outside and just reached in and swatted that ball out of Mark Malone's hands.
Craig Wolfley saved the ball for the Steelers.
Watch the play here. Humphrey reaching in, and as Malone starts back, the ball just bounced free. And it's Malone who gets the first shot at it, and I believe he recovered it.
Wolfley actually wound up with a throw, and what a kick by Newsome.
Look at that kick.
And now the lateral bounce and out of bounds. No, it goes the other way. Even on the roll, you can't predict. All the way to inside the 20-yard line. What a kick by Harry Newsome. 60 yards into the wind.
This is what the Jets had hoped for. The big turnover down deep in Steeler territory, and they almost had it. Malone missed the ball. Humphrey has it momentarily. It bounces loose, and it's Wolfley, 73, in from his guard position. And actually, there were 4 Jets with a chance at that ball, but Wolfley got it.
That was at the Steeler 20. Now they take over at their own 20. That's the difference. 17-14, Pittsburgh. Jets with the wind in the third quarter to try to get the lead. They come out throwing. Schuler laterals. And Kurt Sohn, the omnipresent little overachiever of the Jets, tacks on another 7 or 8 before Donnie Shell alertly Finally can get him out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
Sometimes this would be a design play. I think this is just an intuitive thing as Schuler gets the hand or gets the ball here, knows he's not going to go anywhere, sees Stone right there and just flicks the ball out to him. Boy, that is dangerous, but Stone with good hands makes it work for the added gain.
10 on the pass, 12 on the lateral, first down. Quickie, Toon, not much there. His second catch is worth about 5. Well, you have to be strong. Those tight ends, not many wide receivers can handle a couple, 3 tacklers and still get a lateral away.
Mickey Schuler, I think one of the most underrated of tight ends in the NFL. A good blocker, good solid hands. He'll give you everything he's got play in after play out.
On second down and 4 wide receivers in for the Jets, and then they give to McNeil. 40, 30, fumbles out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Freeman McNeil, 30 yards.
When things begin to work, you get the passing game going, you get a little confusion going for the defense, you can hand that football off to McNeil, and he can find some room for you. Downfield, good play by Freeman, but almost another mistake as that ball bounced loose.
That run moves Freeman McNeil into the number 1 spot all time in Jets rushing. He's just passed Emerson Boozer. And now trying to add to his mark, down to the 15, a gain of 7 more. Shell secured the tackle as McNeil looks for a possible 100-yard day. It was noted in one of the New York papers, and the way they wrote it was interesting. They said Freeman McNeil, a Californian in 15 December games with the Jets, has only gained 100 yards once, implying that he's not a cold weather player. Well, he's only 10 yards away from 100 today and moving in the all-time list away from the rest of the pack. Good play action. Toon! But no music.
Tune, but no music.
Well, I don't know. I'm trying.
I like that. I'm not sure that Toon would have been able to keep himself in bounds, but again, they're trying to take advantage of the cornerbacks, the weak link in that Steeler defense. Lupe Sanchez trying to push the man out of bounds, but that ball slightly overthrown, and Toon, who's about as big a receiver as you're going to find, couldn't even go up and get it.
Time called.
Donnie Shell
By Pittsburgh.
called a timeout, and I think there was some uncertainty as to what the defense was.
Well, they had 11 men, but they didn't have them where Shell thought they should be. Timeout with 11 minutes, 12 seconds left in the third quarter. Jets trying to at least tie.
The time right now. The place, your Mazda dealers. The event, Goodbye 86. We're saying goodbye with good buys on all our 87s, 323s, 626s, even our X7s. And right now, special factory cash incentives can save you hundreds on 87 B2000 trucks. Buy now, while sales tax is still deductible. But hurry, the end is almost here. Visit your Mazda dealer for a good buy now. Don't let time run out.
If I thought that no one cared about the things I do in life, well, I'd still care about working hard and making it turn out right. Made in America, that means a lot to me. Oh, I believe in America and American quality. Here's to you, America, my best I give to you.
Anheuser-Busch is the same personal commitment to quality that has kept our family of beers the finest in the world for over 100 years.
Here's to you, America, my best I give to you.
somebody still cares about quality. Anheuser-Busch.
Today's game is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. The more you look, the more you like Mazda value. By STP, the makers of STP gas treatment. We've got what it takes to perform. And by Mioflex Pain Relief Rub for muscle aches and pains. Available in a new easy-to-use pump.
Hard to believe, but the fella in the middle told me he weighs only 130 pounds. But he had to put on a lot of that just to stay warm today.
You dunk him in water. He's very small, actually.
The ball is at the 15-yard line. 3rd down and 3.
Look at that ball roll. The official has to track it down. What a critical play for the Jets offense.
Page and McNeil split behind O'Brien. McNeil with a blocker. Ball was down at the 3-yard line. 1st and goal for the Jets as Freeman McNeil following Dan Alexander around the corner.
Good call. The Steelers, I think, expecting a pass. They're crossed up as McNeil, who has been hot here in the 3rd quarter, explodes past the linebackers, gets down to about the 3-yard line. Going to be 1st and goal.
102 yards now for McNeil. And he's looking for 3 more to the 1-yard line. Where it'll be 2nd and goal. David Little denied the touchdown with 10 minutes and 20 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. The New York Jets trying to get the lead. Reggie McElroy, one of 3 injured players to return for this game, along with Klecko and Lyons, is down. Now up on his feet. Or is that out?
Yes, he's up, but he is not moving too well. And again, remembering what Joe Walton said before the game, he said, I'm going to put those guys back into the lineup, and I just hope they can last. Well, Klecko went down early, and now McElroy has also gone down, but we'll have to wait for a report from Bob Reese, the trainer, on the sideline.
Ted Banker comes into the offensive line. 3 tight ends, Schuler, Cleaver, and Griggs for the Jets, with Toon way out to the left. They throw to Toon. No, to McNeil. And McNeil, not by intent, did not catch the ball. Had he, it would have been a loss to the 7. So that was a wise miss. It looked like they were going to go to Toon cutting over the middle. Watch him here. He's near your near side.
Toon actually driving off, and that ball thrown behind McNeil. McNeil fighting it all the way, and you're absolutely right. Good to get. I think he was still trying to catch it instinctively. You want to catch that football, but it would have cost them about 2 yards had he done it.
3rd and goal outside the 1. McNeil did not make it. What a surge by the Pittsburgh Steelers. John Swain from the corner.
Robin Cole also in there, and Walton with a tough choice here. Do you take the 3 points, or do you go for the 7? It would appear that he's willing to go for the 3 here. You'll see it right there as Swain, number 26, puts a helmet as McNeil got twisted around. Actually got his back to the goal line. I think if he could have stayed square, there was room in there to squirm through and get into the end zone.
Pat Leahy has missed only 3 all year, 15 for 18. Has a little chip shot, but has the win too. 18 yards away. And the game is tied. That doesn't seem to satisfy the Jets partisans inside the 1. They wanted a touchdown. We have the wind again blowing the ball off the tee from Leahy. It's tied at 17. A most unusual sequence of plays.
The ball blew it off again.
A most unusual sequence of plays in the Jets, leading to the Jets field goal. They had it 2nd down at the 1 and elected to pass, and then on 3rd and 1 they couldn't make it. Very short. It sounded as if he hit the tee. This is Reeder, Dan Reeder, drafted by the Raiders out of Delaware, out to the 32-yard line. Let's go back to the second down play. Now they had moved down there, Merlin, running the ball.
Freeman McNeil is hot. You've made 51 out of 79 yards in the drive on the running game, and here on second and short, you elect to throw the pass out to McNeil. They're lucky he didn't catch that ball or would have put him in a lost situation. You got 2 shots from short end. Got to believe that the running game will get you some points.
Instead, they have to settle for the field goal. Now it's the Steelers' turn into the wind. Up the middle to Jackson. Rusty Gilbo supporting Tom Baldwin and Bob Crable.
Crable at the bottom of that stack. Let's go into the inside and take a peek at what is happening in there. You watch Baldwin shifting back across all of Klecko, and Lyons getting a hand in there. A chance to watch a lot of good, hard line play as the Jets defense obviously wanting to try and force a turnover, get something going here very quickly.
And Baldwin did a solid job tying up the middle of that line. Wide open is Preston Gothard. Oh, he was a step away from a touchdown. Harry Hamilton, a one-leg tackle.
They hope to catch Mark Malone off balance with that blitz, but Malone read it very effectively. Watch how quickly he's able to get back and zip that football. No problem at all as Gothard in the right position, and when you blitz that way and send the linebackers, you open up some area underneath for that tight end.
There was no one between Gothard and the goal line. His first catch, 14 yards, first down at the 47. Looking for help. 40, 50 to the Pittsburgh 48. Mark Malone made the tackle. So the quarterback makes the tackle after a 28-yard return, and the wind really knocked down that pass.
Malone had the man open briefly, but that ball seemed to stay up there forever, and Holmes, bumping into his own man, did a great job of getting his hands on it.
The play started on the 47. Holmes returns to the Pittsburgh 48 with his 6th interception of the year. He leads the club. Reggie McElroy, 68, is back in there at right tackle. Good news for the Jets. 17-17 the score midway through the third quarter. Wesley Walker. Sanchez gets him out of bounds at the 40. I think that's John Swain.
Walker again scaring the defense off. They have to respect his speed, and with their backs to the wind, the Jets want to make hay while the wind blows here, or something like that.
That's right. McNeil. Oh, that was a half step away from being a very big play. They had blockers, enough blockers to take care of all the defense, but McNeil could not squirt through. David Little made a fine save.
Joe Walton said he wanted to come out today and get his linemen, his offensive and defensive line, to take charge of the line of scrimmage. They did not do it in the first half, but so far here in the second half, he's getting that kind of performance.
6 minutes 45 left in the third. First down, McNeil. And in from the corner is Sanchez, forcing that run. Hinkle to help out.
Mickey Schuler on that last play, coming in motion as a tight end. You'll see him dive into the line as a blocker. You see him sliding along. He's trying to option pick up somebody on the backside. Ends up slamming into Merriweather. But that still wasn't enough to help on the other side, where McNeil found tough sledding in a short 1-yard gain.
McNeil. And again, so difficult to read. A flag is down at the line of scrimmage.
Steelers were blitzing on that play as they get a holding call against the Jets on that particular play. Steelers rarely blitz in the open field, only about 10% of the time. But they were coming on that play.
Holding. Offense. Number 65. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down. Second down.
The general, Joe Fields, the center, 12-year veteran from Widener, and McNeil limping off, favoring that left ankle.
They're kind of thin in there, too.
Johnny Hector is injured, and Dennis Blyton, they tried to get him off the reserve list, and he was claimed by Tampa this week. O'Brien. Fumble. Merriweather has it for Pittsburgh at the 47. Make that Brian Hinkle. Oh, Hinkle hit him. I was right. Merriweather did recover. 57.
In combination and concert, the two of them, and O'Brien a little slow getting off the ground. I don't think he felt that defensive player coming hard from behind, slammed him down.
Hinkle made the fumble, and Merriweather recovered.
Who has the easy to load, easy to shoot, easy to enjoy camcorder? Who? RCA. It's the new Pro Wonder camcorder. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
Whenever I get the chance, I head for these mountains. Of course, I enjoy these mountains, too, the mountains of Busch Beer.
And now you can enjoy the Busch Holiday Sweepstakes. Grand prize is a trip for 6 to ski in Steamboat Springs, Colorado.
It's easy to enter. For further details, look for this display of participating retailers. So come on, head for these mountains. With a little luck, you'll be heading for these mountains, too.
When it comes to designing and manufacturing high-quality precision materials for industry, custom-made components of almost any material, design, or specification, there's one company that makes them for all of these. No. GTE. You are looking at the perfect Christmas present, an amazing product of advanced technology that you could never, ever give at Christmas before. The incredible new Spectra system from Polaroid. We take your pictures seriously.
Friday Night Videos takes the field in the starting lineup. Ron Darling, plus Bruce Springsteen, Van Halen, and Robin Williams. Friday Night Videos managed by Bob Costas and Ahmad Rashad.
A lot of things to watch. First, Brian Hinkle, 53. You'll see him come in here now, partially blocked down, and watch him hustle.
He'll come from behind and strip the ball, knocking O'Brien to the ground. Now watch O'Brien as he goes down. His hand is out, and let's stop it right there. If you look, you'll see that his right hand gets stepped on by Keith Willis right there. You see him pull that hand in. And then, of course, the fumble picked up by Merriweather. We talked about the strength of those linebackers, and there are the two outside linebackers making the big play, getting the turnover, and O'Brien, in the meantime, holding that hand on the sideline.
Well, in the exchange of turnovers, the Steelers gained 5 yards. They're now at the Jets' 47, a 17 all-time. Jackson. Good leg strength to the 43. Selfern 4.
Won't quit. But he just kept driving in there.
He now has 65 yards on the afternoon. Remember, the Steelers in a 17 tie will have the win in the fourth quarter.
Right now, their thought, I think, is to drive that ball with the running game and take the clock down to the end of the third quarter.
Just over 5 minutes left in this period. Jackson, a little misdirection. Again, he broke the initial hit. And it's taking more than one man to get Jackson to the carpet. Now, here is what's at stake in the AFC. course, you have a second game this afternoon, Washington and Denver. Denver, New England, Jets, and Cleveland. Denver is clinched. That's the asterisk. New England and the Jets. New England has the advantage right now if they end in a tie based on record. Unless they lose to Miami, it does become complicated. Cleveland can clinch it if they can beat Cincinnati tomorrow. But if the Bengals win, well, now. And Kansas City, Raiders, and Seattle all need help to get in the playoffs. The Jets, with a win, get a wild card. They know that. Malone on 3rd and inches appears to have the first down. He does.
Let's look in at the NFC playoff picture.
The Giants, Chicago has clinched, and Washington has clinched. Either the Giants or Washington will be the wild card. Of course, the Giants in the catbird seat there. The Rams, a game and a half in front of San Francisco. Actually, San Francisco should be up in front of Minnesota based on record, with the Vikings and Dallas needing some help to beat out San Francisco for a wild card.
17 of 28 teams still in the hunt.
Isn't that amazing? Miami is still in it.
Yes, they are. Oh!
Deflected.
Marty Lyons. You know, Marty, it's interesting. He's wearing a harness on that injured shoulder, and one of the things he can't do is get that injured arm up into the air. So he's working with one arm kind of clawed. There's the shoulder harness, and it's on the right shoulder of Marty Lyons. Now, what they try to do with that is to keep him from getting that shoulder up where it can be injured. But he's still in danger if he tries to reach behind himself. In other words, to reach back and use some power.
Boy, talk about being in a fight with one arm tied behind your back.
There it is, tied down, definitely.
2nd and 10 at the Jets 37. Jackson with flags all over. They threw the flag and it flew about 50
It went about
yards.
25 yards. That wind, if anything, has gotten stronger as this game has progressed.
But that's what's interesting. You've seen how the ball blows off the tee, and that's the wind at the top of the stadium, as if you weren't with us at the start, blowing from left to right as you watch, and yet the wind on the floor of the Giant Stadium goes right to left.
Holding, offense, number 74, 10-yard penalty, repeat the down, 2nd down.
When Terry Long holds you, you have been held. Here's a man that squats 837 pounds, deadlifts 865 pounds. If he wants to hold you,
Yeah, 275 pounds he weighs, and they say he's 5'11". Don't believe it. He is a fire plug in there.
2nd and 20. Screen to Jackson. Well read. Russell Carter for a loss back at midfield. -4 in the play.
The Jets bringing Carter up on that play, had the good call on defensively. Pressure was on. Malone has to throw this ball before he wants to. You see the pressure right there. Barry Bennett, 78. That development of that play just a little before it was ready, and Carter able to get up there before the blockers had a time to get out in front of Ernest Jackson.
Clock running at 3:17 for the Steelers. They're hoping to get into the 4th quarter with a win, at least in a tie. The Jets need the ball and need to score in this period. Third and 24. Abercrombie to the 41-yard line. Makes another difficult catch. He has been impressive as a receiver today. 8 yards on that play.
Excuse me, Dick. The blitz again is Lester Lyles coming up the middle. They were able to pick him up, but Abercrombie getting that football on the quick read just couldn't keep his feet. Let's see what they can do on this punt. The last time Newsom kicked into the wind, he drilled one.
Whistle dead. A 30-yard punt and a 5-yard return. Tackle by Greg Carr, who's injured. Look how close this one was to being blocked.
Not only close to being blocked, but very close to a roughing call on Newsom going to the ground. Sometimes they will call the kicker for intentionally showing that he's been hit.
To break free. To reach new heights. Master new skills. To meet the world on its terms and yours. Feel the pride. Show the world your U.S. Navy. Live the adventure. Call 1-800-327-NAVY.
Car carry people, we know who we are.
Here's where Quaker State's unique engine protection formula goes to work for you.
We got what it takes, we know what's best. We're the ones who won't settle for less.
For top quality, state-of-the-art motor oil protection, special formula Quaker State.
We're Quaker State people, reaching for the best.
I am losing control. I have a TV remote, a cable remote, a VCR remote. Doesn't anybody make a TV with one remote control for everything?
Sure. Magnavox. This one comes with the universal remote. It controls the Magnavox TV and just about every brand of wireless, VCR, and cable.
A Magnavox controls Sony.
And Zenith, and RCA, and Panasonic, and...
I'll take the Magnavox, and you can take these.
The universal remote. It's 3 controls in one. Nobody puts it together like Magnavox.
Next Saturday, it will be Denver at Seattle. That's no surprise, but on NFL 86, that quartet of characters, they've come up with a scheme where they can bring anyone they want unannounced. Michael Weissman really being, I think, a little too liberal. Now, if you didn't have to be stuck with me in Seattle, and you could be on NFL 86, what would be your surprise?
How about Linda Evans?
You always take her. The Jets in a 17-all tie with 2:21 left in the third. McNeil stumbling to the 19. Well, that's an interesting thought. It's like, with whom would you like to be on an island if you're going to be stranded for 30 minutes on NFL 86? I think I'd take Joe Costanza. He's as loyal as they come. Our statistician, numb fingers and all. Walker and Toon to the left. This is the time to pass, even though they're deep in their own end because of the wind conditions. And O'Brien accommodates. Sohn to the 35 and a first down.
But he made a mistake. He should have gotten out of bounds. He stayed in bounds. That clock keeps winding. This is almost like the end of a game in a way that you'd like to run your 2-minute drill while you got that wind. A real quandary for Rich Kotite and for Joe Walton on the other side. They want to throw that ball. They want to use that wind, and it's clicking away. 118, 117.
In a spread formation. Only McNeil behind O'Brien. Throwing for Toon. Intercepted. Lupe Sanchez at the 41. And even though O'Brien had the wind at his back, that ball was fluttering and didn't carry as far as he thought.
Credit Mike Merriweather. Outside linebacker for the Steelers on the blitz. He forces this ball away before O'Brien is ready. Watch him from the right-hand side. O'Brien has to get that ball off before he's ready to do it. He won't stay up to see the move by Lupe Sanchez, who does a good job of recovering after the throw. And look at this acrobatic jump. Boy, took that right at the top as it would have otherwise been in the hands of Toon.
From the 41 of Pittsburgh, Abercrombie, a yard, maybe two. Al Toon at 6'4". They figured that they'd work on Sanchez, who is the shortest defender at 5'10", maybe, and a half a foot shorter. And Sanchez lengthened that 5'10" with that leaping interception. The Jets -2 in turnovers. And they're tied at 17. They need more than a tie.
Preston Gothard has limped off. Warren Seitz in at a tight end for the Steelers.
Jackson. He kind of hides back there, turning his knees, and then finally finds a little crack, and bam, out to the 50-yard line.
Talking to the Steelers, they said early in the year they had tried to do more straight blocking, more man-on-man blocking, more double teaming. They said, you know, our guys don't like it. They like that trapping offense. They continue to do it very well here today.
Well, the traffic will have the wind blowing it in the fourth quarter, tied at 17. Back after these messages from your local station.
Tonight, Hunter and Dee Dee are taking the heat, tracking a deadly kidnapper. Will this mysterious killer make Hunter's day?
You want to fight? I hope you do.
Tonight.
There must be a reason why over 6,000 people bought their last car at a Leith Auto clearance sale. This weekend, all 87 Grand Wagoneers are discounted $5,000 and available at 0% interest. GM brass hat cars like these 87 Grand Ams at 0% interest. There are 500 reasons not to miss this sale. They're all at 0% interest, and they're only at Leith's Auto Sale this weekend at the State Fairgrounds in Raleigh.
If you think you're saving money by painting and caulking and trying to get your old windows through one more year, you're wrong. Those old windows that cause you so much aggravation are actually wasting the money you spend to heat and cool your home. Up to 70% of your dollars are wasted by your old windows and doors.
I don't want to see you suffer through another year of those endless window problems. Call this number right now. We'll send you free this information on Thermal Guard windows.
How you can put an end to your window problems, increase the value of your home, and how the money you save on fuel bills alone usually more than pays for the windows. All that sent to you with no obligation, just for calling right now. You'll also get this special offer that could mean hundreds of dollars of savings on Thermal Guard windows.
The information's free, the special offer is free, the phone call is free. And the windows could save you thousands of dollars in the years ahead. Give us a call right now.
The all-new dating game on 28 WPTF TV.
Joe Walton had said that this man knew Fa'aola from Honolulu would be a starter at fullback. He has not played at fullback. Tony Page has. Look at, there's his first formal name. He just takes the last three letters, Nu'u.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it, Ember.
No, I was going to give you a chance. I'll wait till he plays. He couldn't even make it through the Jockey Club. You can't even name a horse after him. Too many letters. Third down and 2 at midfield. Weegee Thompson in motion. Abercrombie's going to be very close to a first down.
I think he's got it. Penetration appeared to be beyond the yard markers.
Let's look at the statistics through the third quarter. Time of possession strongly in favor of Pittsburgh, but the Jets gaining in total yards. So
really improving their performance here in the third quarter as we expected with the wind at their back. But the thing they have not done in either the first or the third quarter with the wind advantage is to get points on the board. And the fact that they have not been able to move off that 17-17 tie would certainly not be a positive indication for them. At least not a touchdown on the board anyway.
Well, to give you an indication, it is a first down. There's only been 3 points scored by the team going into the wind, going left to right. Jets face that in the fourth. There's Stallworth with a flag down. John Stallworth to the 27-yard line. 21 if.
An interference call which will be waved off against the Jets defense.
I want to go back and correct the win.
Illegal contact. Defense, number 27. Penalty decline. First down.
That's Russell Carter. They'll take the play anyway. The Steelers have not scored against the win in their 2 chances. Now they have the win in their back. But the Jets have. They scored on the kickoff return. They scored on Sohn's catch. And they scored on Leahy's field goal in the third period. So they did get 17 points against the win. The Steelers nothing. But the Steelers with 17 with the win. And that's the way they're going now. Jackson. He's a hammer. 5 more. Kevin MacArthur with a tackle. He's a free agent from Lamar. He's one of the starters when they cut Charles Jackson earlier in the week, a starting linebacker almost all of the year. The Jets letting Jackson go. They moved MacArthur, who has been a special teamer, into the inside and moved Crable back outside. Changing the play is Malone. Blitz. Incomplete to Lips. Jerry Holmes has played a big game. Gets in the way again.
MacArthur on a delayed blitz. Little short step back to let the blocking pattern set up. Watch him now as he comes on the hurry from deep in his own position. Wolfley tried to get him, couldn't get him down. A little bit of a hurried throw by Malone, batted away very nicely by Jerry Holmes, and MacArthur comes to the sideline and relatively long yardage, 3rd and about 5.
To the 6. Bobby Humphrey with a tackle, 1st and goal, Pittsburgh. 16 for the veteran Stallworth, who's moving up onto that list, nearing 500 in his career.
As you watch Stallworth work downfield against Bobby Humphrey, you got to know that he has all the time in the world, because there's no pressure at all on Mark Malone. Malone able to stand back there and wait till Stallworth broke free.
John, one of the true fine men in this game, only 9 away from 500. With that catch, he has 4 today. Maybe a yard or 2. Ernest Jackson. 82 is always a good number for John Stallworth. When he was drafted back in 1974, he was the 82nd player picked. Then teaming, of course, with Lynn Swann and all those glory years, the 4 Super Bowl championships with the Steelers. And now with Swann gone, this veteran continues to excel. Abercrombie, touchdown.
Now, yes. 3 officials on the line, and one of them finally putting his hands in the air, but I think maybe they're going to have a little conversation about it. It did not look to me like he was going to be in.
The official on the near side signaled touchdown.
The official on the far side did not, and I believe he had a better view of it.
This is maybe where they're going to ask the instant replay. Yep, you see, Mark Malone is a good person. He pointed both fingers, index fingers, at his helmet and then pointed upstairs as if to say they're going to look at it again.
You watch it yourself as Abercrombie, behind good blocking, gets a surge right here. He's past the linebackers. 26, Lester Lyles making the primary tackle, but it looked like his knee was down before that ball came anywhere near the goal line.
From this angle, you can take another view. He is down. It would appear from that angle that he was not in. Of course, the official making the call is on the blind side off to the right. No touchdown, apparently.
After further review by instant replay, the play is confirmed. It is short of a touchdown. 3rd down.
Jack Reeder is the instant replay official. They wanted to make sure that he was down by contact. 3rd and goal. Contact by Barry Bennett. Now that's only an inch penalty if it's against the Jets, but it's a big 5 if it's against Pittsburgh. So you're going to guess. This is the time to guess.
Jets defense charged up. There's no room for error.
On the defense, number 78. Repeat the down. 3rd down. Half the distance to the goal line.
Was that Marshall or Allen Page Page.
Alan Page.
And Tom Mack is still sitting there in a three-point stance, but he got the 5.
Yeah, it can't happen. Of course, in this situation, I think what Barry Bennett saw was Ouija Thompson coming in motion, and I think he just reacted to the action that he thought was along the line of scrimmage.
3rd and goal. Mark Malone does it himself. And a fact of this game is that when it's come to short yardage, line versus line, the Steelers have not had any difficulty getting the yardage they've needed on the 3rd downs and the 4th downs.
First chance for the Steelers to take the wind here in the 2nd quarter. They don't waste any time. They take it right down the field, and on a quick count, Malone does his imitation of a high diver and goes into the end zone.
Gary Anderson adds the extra point. 11 minutes, 11 seconds left. The Jets are behind at Giant Stadium in the cold. It's around a 0 temperature with a chill factor, but those in the sun benefit somewhat. As Anderson kicks it off, the Steelers lead by 7. Bobby Humphrey at the 11. He's got a gap. Good return to the 40-yard line. Joe Walton's team has the ball trailing by 7. He made some big changes this week. Starter Charles Jackson released. Elvis Franks released. Men who have been starting, Banker and Page, although Page did start. Rudolph and Baldwin didn't start today. MacArthur and Fowler came in.
We're supposed to start. Fowler did not.
King and Crable just moved a position, and then the injured return. Klecko only to be re-injured. Lyons, McElroy was out of play. Is the jury still out on all of that? Or no?
Well, I think it is, but I think they have to win. What Walton did, in essence, moving people around and taking people out of the lineup, was to send a clear message. This is the way it should be. I want you to get up and play some football. They really have not done that, Dick. They have not been able to play well, and we've got to give some credit to the Steelers. And we said that at the beginning of the game. They're not a patsy team. They came in here to win, but the Jets have not played well in this ball game.
At the 45-yard line, Mickey Schuler with 5 yards. Wasn't sure that he got both feet down that time, Merlin, but let's see.
Mike Merriweather, you see the quick drop by the linebacker there.
Yeah, he had them both a little stutter step.
Yeah.
2nd and a long 5. McNeil. Good job on the point of attack by Mike Merriweather. Played his college ball at the University of Pacific. In fact, he's a Stockton high school player as he continues to be a very tough player. He's only 26. And why is it that some teams always get good players at a certain position? Steelers have always been with the Lamberts and the Hams, and going back to Andy Russell. Linebackers, their strength. McNeil, great catch. Out of bounds at the 41. First down, Jets.
Big pressure on O'Brien. This is as tough a pass to throw accurately as you can throw. He's throwing it against a tough wind. He has to loop it over the top of the linebacker's head. He does all of those things, and then McNeil does the rest as he runs it for a first down.
All the time leading McNeil at the ball's even a little bit behind him, then the linebacker makes the tackle. 24-17, Pittsburgh leads. 10 minutes, 19 seconds left in the 4th. McNeil burrows to the 36, a gain of 5.
The one thing that Joe Walton said yesterday, and it's appropriate to mention it here, he said it wasn't losing that bothered me so bad against the 49ers, even though I hate to lose. It was the fact that we did not play hard. We did not play well. And even though the Jets have not played a great game, they've not had a good game, they are still playing hard.
4 wide receivers, Walker, Townsend, Toon, and Sohn are in the lineup. 2nd and 5. 92, Keith Gary. #1 draft pick of the Steelers from Oklahoma. apparently untouched with a third Steeler sack.
An old nemesis, the sack, coming back to haunt the Jets. Simply unable to protect their quarterback. Gary breaking from the inside. We mentioned to you that Gordon King has been moved over to that left guard position to try and shore things up, but that means a new man on the inside. Teamwork may not be what it should be between the guard and the center in there.
Third and long. This time it's Keith Willis, number 93, with his 12th sack of the season. And the Jets will have to punt.
Leading the team in sacks, and you can see why as he drives an injured Reggie McElroy right back over the top of O'Brien and then discards him and finishes the job himself.
Jennings to punt. Woods back at the 15. No fair catch. Boy, he took a gamble and it may pay off. 40, 50, and Jennings bumps him out of bounds at the Jets 41. I think everyone in the Jets uniform thought Woods would fair catch it. It seemed the logical thing to do. Everyone relaxed, and he went right on upfield. Oh, my. This is the longest punt return against the Jets, one of the best in the NFL all year long.
You're absolutely right about the Jets stopping. They just assumed that Woods would not take a chance with that wind howling. Very alertly, he saw an opening, just stepped up and picked up the football, and that's heady individual play. Gives them an advantage here as they're inside Jets territory to start the drive.
The longest prior return was 16 yards. And that's almost the entire season, and Woods 39. That takes it to the 42 of the Jets. 8:38 left. The Jets have to stop Pittsburgh now. Jackson hit but gains 2 yards after the initial contact. Clifton and Ben Rudolph with a stop as Ernest Jackson runs his total to 87 yards for today. Boy, he's earned almost every inch.
Continuing to control the football. You know, we've talked about many times how important this game is to the Jets. For the Steelers, the importance is winning a second game on the road. They've only won one game, that against Houston early, and winning against a good opponent. They feel that those two things help to set this team up for 1987.
You could make a case for the Steelers coming into this game with a 7-game winning streak. Malone to Lips. Covered by Jerry Holmes, and that time the ball seemed to carry farther than it has in the past.
Dick, let's go in on the line of scrimmage and zero in on one of those Steeler offensive linemen. Terry Long, we said he says he's 5'11". He's really not. He said, I'm so short. He said, I get out there and get down on my stance quick so they can't see how small I am. Here's a shot of him in that last pass protection series. Steelers going from the up stance. Long waiting. Look at that shot right there. Just picked up the linebacker. Kyle Clifton steaming in and stuck him. Made him restart.
Big play for the Jets defense. John Stallworth, touchdown. His first of the year, and that might be the stake through the Jets' heart as they take a 2-touchdown lead. Throw. Malone off his back foot with a blitz about to arrive.
The heat was on, and Mark Malone, as we mentioned, had such a shaky start on the season. At one time, a quarterback rating of 31. Well, all of that is behind him now.
Anderson's try for point. A healthy Stallworth and a healthy Lips makes Malone a better quarterback. And it was right on the money. Cradled by Stallworth, who has 5 catches for 95 yards today. And finally, stay tuned, the Blue Demons and the Cardinals from Freedom Hall. 7:48 left, and the Jets need 2 touchdowns to tie. And Anderson belts it to Townsell. And he's down at the 20-yard line. John Stallworth, his first touchdown of the year, 60 in his great career, and that doesn't count the fact that he scored more playoff touchdowns than anyone in history. Super Bowl 1979, the Rose Bowl, Stallworth from Bradshaw. That broke the Rams' heart, and you were there to watch.
Oh, I sat in the stands and cried that day.
Injured earlier this year. Remember, they wanted to operate on him. He said, nope, I'm going to go home and heal on my own. Here he is back and contributing, and Jets fans wish that perhaps he might have taken the rest of the year off. O'Brien to Toon. It looked as if Toon wanted to lateral to someone, but no one was there. 11 yards on the play. And we have another injury. Reggie McElroy is down again. Boy, you talk about things looking bleak. The Jets, 9-game winning streak, just riding on the crest of success. 10-1, the best record in football. Then suddenly a loss to Miami, then the injuries, and now the fans have almost made their own commitment. They've said they don't think the Jets can come back from 2 touchdowns down. Let's see if we can find out as a concerned Jets head coach looks out at his fallen right tackle.
McElroy right in the middle of your screen working on Keith Willis, and I think he just locked up on that leg and twisted it. Now, when a leg is injured like that and you're trying to work backwards on it, suddenly you find yourself locked up with all that weight on one leg, and in particular on an artificial turf that tends to grab you. You can see that he's in pain. Limped off once earlier, came back into the game. We'll have to keep an eye on him as we'd indicated to you. Klecko, who started this game at nose tackle, already left the game and did not return with a knee injury.
You can see that McElroy's wearing a leg brace on the right knee. Here's another look, and you can see the weight right there as he tried to stop Willis and all that pressure from the defensive man. And out he goes, although he's walking fairly well now as he reaches the sidelines. First down, and O'Brien has to hurry it up. McNeil uses the sidelines to stop the clock. 7 minutes, 17 seconds left.
Dick Ahmad is really mad at me. Came up in here to the booth and he said, boy, he said, I can't believe you did that. And I said, Ahmad, what did I do? He said, you tipped off who I was going to bring as my guest next week. He was going to bring Linda Evans.
I thought he'd bring that new little daughter of his. That surprise Saturday. I hope you'll join us at 3:30 Eastern Time, 12:30 on the coast. McNeil to the 38. And you can see the Jets and Joe Walton realizing that they've got to take advantage of every possession, and going into the win, they can't expect a real big play. They're going to hurry it along. O'Brien unloads to Toon. Fine catch. First down at the 46 of Pittsburgh, and O'Brien did a great job of getting that one away. Keith Willis hammered him as he threw the ball. And he's walking as if that one shook him up a bit.
Well, they've had to move Gordon King back to tackle. Ted Banker in at guard.
First down play. Rocky Cleaver can't hang on. You think it's fun to be a quarterback when you release the football?
Well, earlier you saw him get his hand stepped on. You've seen him sacked. Now he feels the heat, I think. Keith Willis just separating him as he heads him down. There are the quarterback comparisons on the day. It has been a very good day. And coming into this game, Malone was coming off his best game of the year. O'Brien off his worst game of the year.
Well, Malone has won the statistical battle today. 2nd and 10. 6.5 minutes left. Pittsburgh leads 31-17. The draw to McNeil inside the 40, but that's still a good 3 yards from a first down. Keith Willis in on the tackle. He's played very well. The knee of McElroy, he will not return.
Taped very tightly. You can see them cutting the tape off on the sideline.
Intercepted. Sanchez, 50. He might go all the way now. Only O'Brien Steelers were one of the few teams, 3 or 4 in the entire NFL, not to have a return touchdown. And Sanchez goes 65 yards for his first NFL score. And this one is over, perhaps, with 6 minutes to go. One would have to think so. Anderson adds the points, the highest scoring total by the Steelers this year. And in the last 4 games, as you look at Lupe Sanchez, former UCLA star, the Jets have scored 33 points, half of those today. The opposition, 124 in the last 4 games. Sanchez with his second interception.
Boy, just a good heady play. Not a good throw by O'Brien, and we'd mentioned that he tends to throw the ball high when he's off target, but that was just plain off target. Sanchez sitting on it all the way, and O'Brien had the last shot at him, but nobody even challenged.
And Sanchez, who was a kick return man for UCLA in his college days, he knows how to run in the open field and found the right path for 65. The stadium holds 76,000, and with the cold and the frosty score against the Jets, I would suspect by the time we count the final second, Merlin, we'd be lucky to find 15,000 in here.
You talk about cold, from the scorching beginning and their long winning streak. The Jets are comatose and have been now in 4 weeks.
I'm all confused by the playoff and the ifs and wherefores, but I'll throw another one at you in a moment. They'll take that at the 20. The way it was reported, if the Jets lose today, and even if New England wins tomorrow, if the Jets win next week and New England loses, the Jets will win the East.
I think that's right, because of the Miami game in the last week against New England. The other thing, if both teams lose games, the Jets win their division as well.
Because that Miami game, the Monday night game that ends the year, New England at Miami, is so critical.
Divisional game.
Division record.
Yeah, would make them both 6-2 in the division. There are still possibilities, but the one thing we know is the Jets are not playing good football, and they've got to turn that around or it won't do any good to get to the playoffs.
Marion Barber, number 31, a rare appearance for him on offense, makes the catch. Again, out to the 32, and a first down. Patriots have a big game tomorrow against San Francisco, and then close out on the Monday night, the last game of the regular season at Miami. Edmund Nelson, number 64. Joe Rock, in his college DJ days, has the 5th Steeler sack. His 5th of the year. Jets play at Cincinnati a week from tomorrow. Boy, again, as we said last week, the good teams, the leading teams playing each other at the end of the year. The schedule maker with some interesting foresight. Well, everyone says, hey, you want to play Marion Barber? Okay. 3 straight times his number called. 3rd down and 12. Freeman McNeil at the 35-yard line, but that's 7 yards from a first down. 92, Keith Gary made the tackle of O'Brien, and both Gary and O'Brien are hurt. And one wonders, down by 3 touchdowns, why O'Brien's in there when Barber is. Why isn't O'Brien out if you've got a Marion Barber play at this stage?
You see Pat Ryan quickly whipping off his hat, reaching for his helmet. O'Brien hit after the pass was released.
Now that could have been avoided, don't you think?
I really believe it could have. Was Keith Gary, number 92, coming in straight into him, and O'Brien is up on his own and walking, but he'll have to go to the sideline for at least one play, although it's 4th down and it really doesn't matter. The punter's going to be on the field anyway.
I don't think so. I think at this stage they'll go for it on 4th down, Merlin, at least.
Well, they kept the offense. You're right, Dick. There's no sense in putting a punter on the field. That means you're going to have to put the backup quarterback O'Brien on the field.
You know, we've been talking. Here comes Ryan.
Or excuse me, Ryan.
About the Jets all day, because they're in the playoff picture, and we perhaps have slighted the Pittsburgh team. And I think that before we close off, we should show, because the Steelers were forgotten because of their 1-6 start, what they've done in the second half of the year. It's really testimony to Chuck Noll's coaching talent and the fact that we may be talking about the Steelers next year again. Freeman McNeil ducks out of bounds and has the first down at the 44. The Steelers, after going 1-6, and the 6th loss was at home to New England, 34-0, the worst ever loss at Three Rivers Stadium for Chuck Noll. Then they beat Cincinnati, they beat Green Bay, they lost by 4 at Buffalo, beat Houston, and then lost in overtime at Cleveland, in overtime at Chicago, before winning at Detroit. I mean, they were close to having a 7-game winning streak, and they had lost earlier to Cleveland by 3 and Cincinnati by 2, so this team isn't that far away. Barber to the 50.
Just a flashback, if you will, to that Chicago game. They were up by 10 points late in that game with the ball on the Chicago 10. And they got an interception that shut it off. But if you look at what they've done defensively, again, we'll bring that stat back for you.
Ooh. Barber trying to get to the pass, and Merriweather decked him. At 1-6, they were very generous, and on the last 7 games, down to 15 points a game. You can win when you only allow 15.
That includes 37 points to Cleveland, too, to the Browns in that overtime loss. So, I mean, if you throw that game out, they're down around 10.
So while the Steelers are just playing to improve their record, they'd like to match last year's 7-9 mark. They're 5-9 coming into this one. They're a team quite close, and they're an upbeat team. Schuler, a fine catch in traffic at the 36, and that was something that you could not miss, that Pittsburgh came in here. Normally this stage of the year, cold weather, 5-9. Who cares? Not this Pittsburgh team. You knew they were going to play hard today and play well. Ryan. The catch is good at the 19. Freeman McNeil with 3 minutes and 24 seconds remaining.
It would be interesting to ask the question. We started the day by talking about what an important role the wind would have on this game. And, of course, its major effect on the passing game. You knew at the outset of the game that the Steelers were favored by that because they wanted to run the football anyway. Had the wind not been blowing today, the question could be asked, would it have been a different game? I think quite possibly so, but I'm still not sure that the Jets would have won it.
What you're really saying is it appears the better team is winning this game. The better team today. He nodded yes.
I nodded. Yes, I do believe that. In fact, I'll go a step further. I know from experience, Dick, that when a team shuts down, and this team shut down, I really think they got the big kick when they beat Miami here in overtime early in the season. And they carried that euphoria forward. But Miami did the opposite thing for them. When they destroyed them in the Monday night game, they stopped them cold, and they have never restarted.
Tony Page knocked out of bounds. That stops the clock at 2:57. I also feel, Merlin, that the Jets were not as good as that 9-game winning streak, and they're not as bad as this 4-game losing streak. It's just one of those catch-in-betweens.
Dick, there's no question about that. At one time, they were winning with that man, O'Brien, out of the lineup, McNeil out of the lineup, Joe Fields out of the lineup, and their starting nose tackle and best defensive player, Joe Klecko, out of the lineup.
And Gastineau and Lyons, and remember the defensive secondary was hurt during their winning streak.
Well, it has been certainly anything but a normal season for the Jets.
2nd and goal. Oh, Page has it batted away, incomplete. Eric Williams, number 21 from North Carolina State. Rejection.
Let's finish the thought, too. We mentioned the word choke earlier in the game, and that's the word that will be applied to Walden and the Jets, I'm afraid, after this game is over. They have not had a good late season record over the last few years. A couple of years ago, lost 7 of their last 8. And this will be held up against them as one of those marks. They simply can't go in the late part of the year.
Ryan, touchdown, Schuler. Flag is down. Was that just a yellow piece of paper? Touchdown, no penalty. So at 2:47 left, Pat Ryan, on a long drive, moves his team to a score to make it 38-23. But there's still 2 touchdowns and an extra point behind. For that Lupe Sanchez interception touchdown, very, very big. This otherwise would be to get within 7.
Touchdown against the wind.
With 2:47 left. It's a 38-24 game. 14 plays, 80 yards in 3 minutes and 8 seconds.
O'Brien goes to the turf, comes out of the game, and Pat Ryan comes in and quickly leads the team downfield. How often do we see a backup quarterback come on the field, and it's almost that there's a letdown by the defense, and sometimes the opposite effect. A change sometimes helps the offensive team.
Well, we can expect the onside now as the Steelers and the Jets will deploy. Ken O'Brien, the report is that just had the wind knocked out of him. It's not a serious injury.
You've got to wonder, though, at the quick success of Ryan if O'Brien will go back into this ballgame.
In the last 4 games, he has 2 touchdowns and 9 interceptions.
And he's been sacked 13 times.
Under Walton in his 4 years, early times are golden, and the cold weather games have been tougher for him, or for his team, and tough for him.
Yeah, you better believe they're tough for that man. He doesn't like to lose.
Handled by Merriweather. He could return this a long way. 25, 20, and all the way to the 16-yard line. Mike Merriweather. Not only the presence to move up and catch the ball on the bounce, but then to make the move in the open field, and that's why he's regarded as one of the better athletes on this Pittsburgh team. They're not doing much wrong, are they?
Well, there's nothing more discouraging than trying to play catch-up football. When the other team knows what you have to do, sometimes they can take full advantage of it. Merriweather looks like a running back on that play, showing you good speed, good moves. Gets it all the way down to the 17-yard line.
2:37 left. And the guess is Malone will keep the ball on the ground and chew up the clock. The Jets have not used the timeout yet. Ernest Jackson to the 3-yard line. Just tripped up. Saving a touchdown was Rich Miano. And for Ernest Jackson, that unofficially puts him at 100 yards for the day and 854 for the year. So a big game next week, and he could get the 1,000 in a shortened season.
Well, if you're sitting at home and you are an NFL personnel director, you've got to recall that this man was on waivers. He was on the street when the Pittsburgh Steelers picked him up.
25-cent phone call gets you a man that rushed for 1,000 2 years ago, 1,000 last year, and would have had 1,000 this, but didn't really play the first 3 games of the year. Welcome back. 38-24. The Steelers about to beat the Jets. The Jets looking at their 4th loss in a row, and the Steelers inside the 5. And I saw you. I mean, that really is it. That's the mode here. Shake your head. What's happened?
Well, I said it earlier, and I played on a team. We talked about it earlier. We won our first 11 games back in 1967 under George Allen, and then it stopped for us. And we couldn't get it started again. And I know what it feels like. You say, we're doing the same things. Why can't we win? But it seems like we talk about momentum. We talk about emotion and enthusiasm. Sometimes we don't pay the right amount of respect to the emotional impact on a football team. Suddenly when things are not going right, people begin to reach and grasp and try to do it all themselves. Somehow it just doesn't work.
And And it's a fairly young team in a lot of the key positions, the Jets. We talked to Mike Webster, the veteran with the Steelers. He said, what a lot of players in all sports, you could liken it to a baseball team. When you start a season, you're going to have a losing streak. Even the good teams do. Everyone goes into a slump. But the veteran teams are able to pull themselves out of it more readily than the younger teams. This is 1st and goal as the Steelers trying to go over the 40-point mark for the first time this year. Abercrombie stopped at the 2. Don't forget that Paul in Louisville, college basketball to follow. A chance to measure Denny Crum's Cardinals against the championship team of last year. You heard Al McGuire say he thinks it's the best front line in college ball. But Denny Crum will tell you that backcourt has really got him worried, and accounts for the fact that they got off to a slow start, losing their first 3. But Crum has a year in, year out the toughest schedule in basketball. He'll play the toughest teams. That's why they seem to do so very well in the tournament. Jackson fighting but can't get in. Miano backing up the support of Benson, Troy Benson in there, linebacker from the University of Pittsburgh. And the clock will run down to the 1-minute mark. Well, we thought that the wind would create some turnovers today. It affected play, but really that did not materialize. Oh,
certainly dominated play, though. Oof.
Yeah, that no one says there's kindness attached with being a head coach or a manager of any sport.
Well, the knives and hatchets will make their appearance here in this town. A 4-game losing streak in New York by a team that had so much success will draw all kinds of criticism and pain.
And we'll be back at least to announce our Budweiser MVPs after this.
Holiday greetings from Budweiser.
And it's Walter Abercrombie for his 3rd touchdown today. Abercrombie joining teammate Ernest Jackson as our co-MVPs. The Budweiser Most Valuable Player Award. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of the MVP selected in today's games. Abercrombie with 3 touchdowns and 60 yards. Jackson was the man who softened him up with 101 yards rushing. The running game of Pittsburgh paid off again today. Now the extra point by Gary Anderson. 45-24. And yet the Jets, who wouldn't want at this stage either to say all you got to do is play 1 game and there's a chance that you can win your division, and they're still in that spot. But they'll come off a 4-game losing streak to do it.
They'll walk off this field with their confidence at such a low ebb that it's going to be very brutal to get themselves ready to go into Cincinnati to face a hot team on December 21st next weekend. And boy, I got to tell you that the questions that are, and the obvious questions, what is wrong with the Jets? And there are no easy answers.
Well, as you look at that again, here's what they're both 10-4, the Jets and the Patriots. Jets lose, they're 10-5. Should the Patriots win, then they're 11-4, 1 ahead. All right, 1 game ahead. But next week, if the Patriots lose at Miami and the Jets win at Cincinnati, then the Jets would have, in a tie 11-5 season for the 2 teams, would have the better division record and would be the champions of the East. So they're that close, but yet, oh, are they that far away. Tom Baldwin fumbles, and it's recovered by the Jets. With this win, and there are a lot of historical notes today, Chuck Noll has won his 170th game in his 18 years as the Pittsburgh head coach. And there are, in terms of greatness, winning coaches George Halas, Shulin Landry, Curly Lambeau, and then Paul Brown and his pupil, Chuck Noll. Boy, he still uses that trap play that Paul Brown used in the heyday of the Browns in the 40s and 50s. Well, That's passing a couple of names. Bud Grant last week and tying Paul Brown this.
And it's Ryan who goes back in, as we suspected it might be. Although with 25 seconds on the clock, it matters very little at this point in the game.
Well, let's look at our NBC lineup tomorrow, because there's one huge game in terms of importance, and that is the Cleveland Browns and Cincinnati Bengals. And Don Criqui, Bob Trumpy will be there at 3 at Riverfront Stadium. Buffalo at Indianapolis, another early game. It all starts at 12:30. It's our NBC doubleheader, so a lot of you will see a couple of games. Freeman McNeil, who's had a good day statistically, over 100 yards, 129 unofficially. In the late games, Miami and the Rams, that with a lot of importance. Kansas City and the Raiders, playoff situation there. And Seattle with an outside hope at San Diego. So join us tomorrow. Last play of the game, Freeman McNeil. That's only frosting on his average. The Pittsburgh Steelers, a team that didn't quit, has come on to be one of the better teams in the entire NFL the second half, much to the dismay of Joe Walton and the New York Jets. Steelers 45, Jets 24. We'll be back to review today's game in a moment.